Okay, this is another lesson on style and improving style, improving the rhythm and sound of your writing. It is not necessarily about grammatical incorrectness, but it's an important component to making your writing more polished. In this lesson, we'll be talking about sentence variety. And the idea here is to have different kinds of sentences, long sentences, medium sentences, and short ones. Sometimes there's a perception that a long sentence, a long and complicated sentence is intelligent, while a short and simple sentence is somehow elementary or simplistic, and that's not true. Good writing has a lot of variety in sentence length and structure. So we'll look at each one of those concepts in turn, sentence length and structure. And we'll start with structure. The guideline here is to avoid repeating the same construction too often within a paragraph. And you just do that by combining a variety of sentence patterns. In this example here, I'll just go ahead and point out that each one of these sentences begins with a dependent clause and ends with an independent clause. These are those sentences discussed in the comma chapter about that begin with subordinating conjunctions. And I've gone ahead and underlined the subordinating conjunctions here to see how each one of these sentences begins with that pattern. There's nothing wrong with that sentence construction, but doing it sentence after sentence within the same paragraph, that becomes tedious. So I'll go ahead and read it. While I enjoy skiing, I like snowboarding as well. Although fresh powder is best for snowboarding, well-groomed slopes are the best for skiing. Since I can't do both, I have to choose which one I will do. Before I hit the slopes, I check to see how much it snowed the night before. So you can hear the rhythm there. It just repeats itself over and over again. And that's because they all have the same sentence structure. A possible revision here is just to mix it up. There's a variety of sentence patterns in this example. Some simple sentences, some compound sentences. So it says, I enjoy skiing and snowboarding. They really are different though. Fresh powder is best for snowboarding, but well-groomed slopes are great for skiing. Unfortunately, that means I have to choose between them. Before I hit the slopes, I check to see how much it snowed. The conditions make all the difference. So it's not as if that paragraph suddenly turned into some brilliant piece of writing, some great poetic piece of writing. It's a little more interesting though, just because it has a different sentence structure. Okay, so you want to also, let's talk about varying sentence length. The guideline is to vary the length and complexity of sentences. That helps provide rhythm, and it makes the paragraphs generally more interesting. In this example, it begins with a long and kind of complex sentence, then there's a very short sentence followed by a medium length sentence. And there's nothing in here that you need to, with this idea of sentence length, you don't need to plan it out and say, okay, I'm going to have a long sentence here and then a medium here, and then I'll have a short one, and then I'll put in another medium. You don't need to plan it out like that. But as you are revising and proofreading your paper, if you see that you get stuck into a certain sentence pattern, or if, in this case, your sentences are all kind of the same length, maybe they're just all short, simple sentences, or they're very long and kind of complex, convoluted sentences. It's just something to be aware of so that you can go and make it have greater variety, make it be more interesting. I'll go ahead and read this, and you can see how the sentence length affects the rhythm here. Smith makes the argument that while our civil liberties must be protected from the encroachment of a security state, we cannot become so paranoid about government power that we ignore the very real and preventable threats of terrorism. I agree. Surely we can find a balance between liberty and security without going to extremes. We start out with a long sentence there. It's pretty complex. Then when that I agree comes, that is a complete sentence. I agree is a complete sentence, and it's a very short sentence. It's a nice break in the rhythm of the complex sentence that came just before it. It allows us to take a breath, and then prepare for the medium sentence that comes up. In any case, the paragraph is more interesting than if it just stuck to nothing but long and complex sentences. So, sentence variety is a way to add freshness and interest to your writing. It's nothing that you need to plan out or become overly concerned about, but as you're reading and proofreading your writing, especially as you are proofreading it and reading it to yourself out loud, which is very important so that you can hear what's going on in your paper. You want to make sure that there's enough rhythm and variety in both length and structure of your sentences that it comes across as fresh and doesn't get locked into a rut.